because I have no idea why, but YouTube wouldn't let me do the horizontal live. So I'm going to try to catch my breath and hope that people find this. 6 minutes later, so maybe everybody gave up on me. I don't know, but I'm still going to do the live. We'll see what happens. Let's see if I can find us. You guys, you know, YouTube really has a problem with these things. If I don't, I can't see the chat if I don't do this, so I'm hoping that people find me. So stressful, YouTube, so stressful. They wouldn't let me do a horizontal live. They would only let me do a vertical live, and I couldn't get out of the loop. I don't know. I'm going to have to not look for questions. Hi, Estella. I'm glad that you found me. I don't know what the problem is, but let's see if I can get back to my channel here. Okay. So oh, and it looks very fuzzy, doesn't it? Well, we're going for it. I might try to wipe off the lens because it might be because my hands were all over it. Yeah, so what happened was, hang on guys, I'm just going to try to wipe my lens for a second because I notice it looks hazy. I think because I shouldn't be touching. Okay, so I would prefer to go horizontal live, and that's what I was trying to do for today. I've gotten your messages. For those of you that have messaged me, thank you. I'm here. I'm here and I'm going to take a breath. So I was hoping to do a horizontal live because I just wanted to go live once a week now, or twice a week at the most. And so I wanted the full breadth of my desk. So I am going to try to get as close as possible to here to see what we can see. So I'm a little low, so I'm going to move things out of the way so I can get in screen the best I can for you. Okay. I'm going to take a breath. Thank you, thank you. All right, so here we are. This is my, well, it's not new to me. I've had this for a while, Moleskine. It's a Moleskine sketchbook, and it's 8¼ by 11¾ inches. So it's a nice size page just for the one-page spread, but even the whole book. And funny that I was going to talk to you today about stress and how stressful was that for me. So, okay, so we're going to talk about a few things. So I wanted to talk about the why of art journaling, sketchbooking, junk journaling, whatever you want to call it. You have to have a why. We all need a why. Hi, Donna. And thank you, Estella. So I wanted to talk about the why of journaling, and you have to have a strong why. And I decided that as I was working on stuff this weekend, that, okay, let's talk about the truth of what is happening here. So for me, I'm not really an artist. I know you're all going to be like, maybe. But I didn't start out being an artist. I'm a therapist, gone artist. And I'm not formally trained in art other than learning from online classes and from other people that do this kind of mixed media art. I wanted to do art journaling because I love the idea of having a book. And I'm going to call it a book of life because I know there's somebody that's called their journaling book of life. But to me, that's what it is. It's a book about our life, any way we look at it. So whether you include the everyday things like ticket stubs or doctor's appointments or whatever, or it's more arty, this is what this form of journaling that I'm talking about does or is for me. So I urge you, as you go forward in your art journaling, to think about your why. Now, some of you, it could definitely be just to make art. And honestly, that's how it started out for me, but now it's become so much more than that. So let's see. You need to have a strong why. I found for me that art journaling helps with healing and stress relief, and it's about enjoying the making and creating and keeping, and keeping a journal. So also for me, it's about deep feelings, seeing texture, and documenting life. So those are my sort of go-tos. But this is definitely a healing process for me. So the last few weeks I've been working on making my own art piece. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to keep track of this process of making my own art piece to hang in my house by keeping this process journal. It's actually going to be my journal of life. So last week I made a bunch of paint chip samples. I was going to glue these in, but I think I want something a little more arty. So I'm going to start by taking my circle punch and punching out these circles so that I can have make a paint chart of my paint colors. So I still have more on here if I want them. So to begin with, this is watercolor, and this is the Viviva watercolor sheets, but this one is the metallic. So these two were metallic, just to have a little sense of, now it's hard to see the metallic in here, but it's there. Just to have a sense of something shiny if I wanted to add it. The rest of these are just watercolor, Viviva watercolor sheets. So this is what I'm making today, is this journal, this process journal. Now I want to make sure, because on this piece I want just the yellow, and this piece I kind of want this mixed of the yellow and the red mixed together, and then just, well, actually this is, I think in the Viviva color sheets they call it deep pink. So I want a kind of a little of that. So that's what we're making and doing today. And we're going to talk about stress relief and how I find painting, keeping a journal, making a journal, keeping track of my colors like this, relaxing and de-stressing, because we're focusing on de-stressing. And I wanted to make this book so that I could look back and have a memory of how or why I did things, about the colors that I've used. I am going to eventually write, I won't do that today because I think it will be kind of boring for you to watch me, but I will keep track of all my colors and write all my colors under these little color charts that I'm making. So I'm going to glue these down. Now this doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to use all of these colors, because honestly, I might not. But this is a good start of colors that I'm thinking about. So these are the watercolor colors up here. This one has metallics in it, these two. These are just the watercolors that would kind of go with my acrylic colors. So that's what I was making, acrylics versus watercolors. And actually, you know what? I might do this in a different way than I thought. Now, the other thing that I have here with me are all the mark making things that I liked. So I'm going to cut out pieces of the mark making so that I have a memory of what I liked. I might even make notes as to why I like them. So I'm going to cut out all of these and get them into my journal. And then I'm taking pieces of scrap paper or jelly print papers that I loved, and I'm also going to do the same thing with texture and papers that I've made. So for this one, let's see. I think maybe it would be useful to have the sort of matching colors together here. This is the mix of the color. So this is the mix of these two colors. It might be hard to see on screen actually. So I want to put the corresponding, so this would be acrylics and this would be my watercolor. This would be the watercolor and this is the metallic watercolor. So then I can put, I don't think this is a good match necessarily, but I might put this with this color here, just because I want to keep track of it. Now, again, this is sort of, these are the watercolor versions of the acrylics. So I think I would do something like this here. So I'm probably going to, and these are random. This is Payne's Gray, and this is Violet Dark, I think, or Dark Violet. So this is how I'm making sense of my paint colors and my paints. This is a totally different green, but I wanted to have this darker green available to me. These turquoise are similar, not exact, and I think that that's okay. So I'm going to try to glue these down. Now I think I'm going to use, I want to leave room so that I can document what they are, the paint colors are. But this is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to use my Oohoo stick. So it's like summer here today, and it is so hot. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to talk more about why you need to consider having a journal like this. So the process for me is about creating, and it's stress relief for the pure joy and happiness of making art. And no, it's not fine art I'm making necessarily. And I'm not worried about me. I couldn't draw a straight line if I had to, and I'm not worried about that. I'm doing this as a way to de-stress, but I also love having the documentation. Oops. So this is sort of this idea of having this process is something new for me, of doing research and looking for things that I love, colors that I love, textures that I love. It's all important to me. So now this watercolor is a little bit of this and a little bit of this. And this is the one that has a little bit of the gold to it, a little bit of the metallic. Now, I think we're going to go this way. And now I have space to write them all down, what the colors are, what I was thinking. I can make notes here. Now this is a little off. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I just don't lose sleep over these things. This should be here. This is an acrylic. So these are my two greens, acrylic, and this is my green watercolor. And this is my turquoise. And this is my turquoise, similar, but not exactly the same, but they certainly could work together. So this is the watercolor, and this is the watercolor with the metallic in it for just a little shine, because sometimes we want shine in our work. And then these two are just the extra colors. Now, I'd probably have white on here also, but white wasn't really going to show up, so I didn't put it in. But I can. I know that I can add that if I want to. But these two are acrylics. So this is how I'm going to start. I'm going to document all this. The reason why I want to have the watercolor and the acrylic, these are a little more opaque. These are very translucent because this is watercolor after all. So I would start maybe with these colors on the page, for instance, or one color or whatever, and then I would layer with probably something more like an acrylic, one of the acrylic colors, or because that's what mixed media is, adding layers. So this is the beginning of the color palette, which is fine. Now, the rest of this stuff that I have here. So I'm not going to document while I'm on camera, but we know that I could. So I could keep track of, I'm going to do these things because I found this interesting. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little scissors here. So this little piece here, I love the lines through it. So I love the texture, and I like the circle that I made, and I know what element, how I made that. I love this oval. Again, I know how I made this oval, and I have those things sitting over on the other side of my desk so that I, in a box, so that I can keep track of it. So I'm just going to glue these things down in my journal, and I might write about it or not. But these are things that I wanted to keep note of. Now this was a blister pack that I had, but I liked what happened there texturally. This is a hot pad. That was a very inexpensive hot pad actually that I got maybe at the dollar store or something. I think it was a dollar store or one of those. So I liked the marks that this made. So I'm going to take a little one of those so I remember that I liked that. I had this was a cork from a liquor bottle, And I loved this, so I was going to cut this out because that might be something that I would use in an art piece. So this is how I'm going to document all these things. I was kind of intrigued by these. This was a little tube. Now this is not straight. But again, I'm just documenting. Estella, I really love the idea of documenting while creating so you have a record. Yes, for the reference. She made a piece last year she wished she kept notes of and colors I used in my process. I want to create a companion piece. See, this is why I'm doing this, because I think that it's important for us to have these sort of documented pieces so we can remember. Why do we like it? What paint did we use? Why did it feel right at the time? You know, anything. So I am going to continue. I mean, this will just be a few of the pages today. Now, I have other things here that I really like. So this is a piece of an envelope. I have loved this all along. I don't know if I'll be able to hole punch with this. I kind of want to get a little bit of this yellow in here, and I don't know if it will happen. Maybe not. Yeah, no yellow there. So I don't know. I like that, but I have another piece of that someplace else. So I love the soft colors of this. This happened to be a gel print, and I totally remember doing the gel print. But I liked the soft colors, so I wanted to keep track of that. I like that. Oh, if I could just tell you how much I love this piece of paper. I hate to put a hole in it. But I wanted to document this because this I made with a cardboard on the jelly plate. And I had pulled something like this where I pulled the layer off and I put the cardboard one way and then the other way, and that's how I got this texture. So one way the stripes were going this way, the other way they were going this way, and I loved how that came out. So I wanted to remember that one. This is just strictly a pull off my jelly plate that I love. Doesn't mean that I'll be able to use this, because it's definitely one of those that I'm not sure we would be able to create again. But I'm going to take it because it might be an idea, something I can build on or use. And I loved these colors in here. So I want to see if I can I'm going to have to put this back a little bit and see if I can get the good part. So again, there's something about the colors and the combinations there that I love. Now, this is just a roll-off piece, and I loved this color. Again, so I just wanted it for the color. I already took something like that. Here's another one that I really, really loved. Now this is Indian Yellow Hue and I think it's quinacridone magenta. But I really enjoyed these colors together, so I wanted to put a piece of this on there. I thought about some of this, but I would just cut some of this myself. So maybe you just make a little so maybe this is something you add somewhere along the line just so you remember that you liked it. This was an accidental piece on the jelly plate that I just love the way this came out. So I wanted to keep a piece of that. Now again, these might inspire what I make. Doesn't mean I'm going to use it all. This is, I don't even remember what colors these are. I'd have to go look this up. But I love this piece of paper. I'm going to try to rip this down so that I can get, I think this is one we just recently made and I can go look it up. I think I made this with the texture wax. It looks so fiery. I love that. This was a piece, but maybe I don't want to do it. This is possible. This is my favorite color, which Nickel Azo Gold. I'm just looking for a really good corner here. So this is just a color that floats my boat. So I'm going to put that in there. So Estella said she started documenting all her color choices in her art journal. Didn't before, and I'm very sorry that I didn't. It's so true, Estella, because I've had this experience myself. So these are, some of these I might use, some of them I might not. Some of them are similar in colors. And then these are all colors that I printed just sheets of paper. And these were the Tomoe River paper. So these are very similar to those first colors that I showed you as I was making my color chart. So these are the colors that I used. So I'm not sure if I'm going to cut more of this because it's similar to those colors that are on my other page. Something like this that is a mix of color though I could use. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. So, and then these were white and black. Oh, it was Donna's. Hi, Donna again. It was Donna's comment. I'm sorry. But these are just black and white markings, and I'm going to leave that for now. I have this piece which isn't showing up very well, so I would put some color maybe behind here and then put this over top so we could see it better. But here we go. So this is where I'm starting on this journey of making my own process of things I'm making. So I'm going to keep this journal for all of my documented all my pieces that I'm going to make, all my art that I would make. I would keep some form of documentation with all of this. And I would write, I would leave room, space to be able to write underneath or by or next to or around all these pieces so that we can have commentary on what they are, so we know why we like them, or we know how we made them, or you name it. So I'm not going to cut everything always to be circular, but today that was the easiest way for me to do it. But I am going to glue these maybe something like this. I might outline these ones that kind of blend into the page here. And I'm going to write maybe over on this page or maybe behind it about why I like these things. Why was this something I chose? What was it about those things that I really loved? So that's my process. Okay, so now we talked about the process of keeping an art journal as a stress relief tool. Something that I've become really aware of, none of us, we're all, since the beer bug, we all are in a position where we have different stressors in our lives. And stress does not bring, it's not conducive to healing ourselves. So for me, art is my way. Art is my way to lose myself, get out of my way, make something that makes me feel happy. Do you just have to do this with art? Absolutely not. Some of us might want to dance, others might want to knit. Sometimes we cook or bake. Sometimes you just want to walk in nature. But it's about creating or doing, and the release of stress happens in our muscles. So whether we're painting or making or whatever we're doing, this art making, art creating is a way to relieve stress. And it's very beneficial in the healing process, in my mind. So I just wrote a few notes, and this one was getting out of our heads, off our screens, and into nature, the outdoors. It's important to reset our tired and overstimulated bodies and minds. Art journaling is one tool we can use, but there's many other ways. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Let's talk about de-stressing so that we all can heal, because I think we're in a position where we all need this. So this is where I'm taking my art, my next steps in my art. These are all the things I'm thinking about and why I'm documenting my processes and things I'm going to create, make, and keep track of, write notes on. So this journal will become, this book will become my book of life, and it will have in it my notes, how I'm feeling, why I like the texture. It will have all kinds of things in it. So next we meet, I'll have glued all this in, I hope. I'll have started to write some notes. And I'm going to, for now, say that I am going live. If we can get the horizontal to work, that will be my next live. But for some reason today, even though I chose horizontal, my phone wouldn't let me do it. Next we meet will be Wednesday next week. And hopefully Wednesdays after that, at least, and possibly some weeks it might be twice a week, just depending on what's happening in my week. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope if you have questions, you'll ask below. I hope that you'll talk about your process and things you like. Maybe leave us a comment about it. And I look forward to seeing you next week. So thank you, everybody. Have a great week. Bye.